Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. My name is Charlotte. I'm a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyze the astrological charts of public figures. Very often they are celebrities, or they're royalty, or they're politicians, or they're like serial killers. We've had a few murderers and predators lately, and sometimes all those things are intertwined. But today I will be analyzing the Synastry chart of two very famous people. They are actors. That is Zoe Kravitz and her now ex-fiance Channing Tatum. So they broke up in recent weeks, and I really liked them together. I think they looked good together. The aesthetic was aestheticing. The aesthetic was doing its thing, and I liked them together. But then I remembered he's a Taurus with a Gemini Venus, and I'm like, as soon as I heard that information, I was like, he cheated. And word on the grapevine is that that's exactly what happened, and she ended it. Anyway, that's what I think. It's not what I know, I promise. It's just what I think. Anyway, so this is a Synastry chart. I know we don't have a full chart until we have the time. Channing could be a Libra moon, or he could be a Virgo moon. But with 12, because when you don't have a time, it automatically sets it to the placements of midday. He is a Virgo moon here. So I'm going to take that into account and have that at the front of my mind as I analyze this. So based on this, she's the inner ring. We have her time. She is a Sagittarius Sun and Mercury, a Venus with a Pluto conjunction in Scorpio. She's not the woman to cheat on. Fucking idiot. If that's what he did, he's a fucking idiot. And she is a Virgo moon, and her Mars is in Aries. He is a Taurus sun with a Chiron there, little wounded, insecure man. And then he's got that Venus in Gemini. He's got a Mars in Leo, which makes a lot of sense with him being able to play a stripper. Was he a stripper in real life? I heard that he was. And that Jupiter conjunction, it's an outer sign conjunction, but it's there. Very, like a highly sexed man that puts it on show. And that North Node there, very self-involved. And he either has a Virgo moon or a Libra moon. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a Libra moon, actually, because he just seems so, like, I like him when he's on camera and does interviews. He's very thoughtful of other people in interviews. Like, he's good at interviewing. He doesn't seem like highly strung like a Virgo moon does. He doesn't seem that way. So I'm just wondering. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, she's a Libra rising. We don't know what rising he is. Anyway, so let's dive in and have a look and take apart this chart. A disappointing, wounded husband. So she's been married before, not surprised. She has Jupiter retrograde in what looks like Taurus. It's a Taurus at the very last degree, because she was born in 88 like me, but she was born at the end of 88, so Jupiter was just in retrograde. But it was basically coming out of Taurus, or it had gone into Gemini briefly and it's gone back into Taurus. But Jupiter retrograde could be disappointing marriages, disappointing husband. It doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. It takes effort. But trial and error, hey? Trial and error with marriage. So she got divorced shortly before she got with him. So this might be a big blow. This is a really big blow. But it makes sense that she's attracted to Taurus guys. I'm also attracted to Taurus guys because of that Jupiter. So Taurus energy is husband energy, is zaddy energy. So it's not surprising that she has this. I think, can I just move up for a moment? That vertex is also in Taurus. So that's the soulmate, like, partner. Yeah, so the vertex is in Taurus, the soulmate placement, and then also like Jupiter, the husband placement, is in Taurus. So I am not surprised that she wanted to be with him. He's a Taurus sun with Chiron, so he's wounded. So she's got the placement for a disappointing husband, and he's got the placement for just having a wounded ego of sorts. And I know that's hard to believe because he is so beautiful and he is, so successful and he is very sexual, very outwardly, potently sexual. But he's still got Chiron on his sun. There are some self-esteem things here. He doesn't have a quiet way about himself. I don't think he's too much or anything, but if you've got Chiron on your sun, that's a wound of the ego. So if you're going to have a wound of the ego, you're going to very often be a creative, which he is. He is a very creative person. And like, I'm sure he's done choreography. Like he creates art, which is the healthiest way in order to deal with a Sun Chiron conjunction, is to be an artist, to help you feel better about yourself and help you at least try to get that pain out, moving out of you in a healthy way. But that's still a very wounded man. He's a wounded man, and she's attracted to disappointing husbands who have Taurus energy. Boom, boom, right there. And this is sad. This is hard because he really, that conjunction with the vertex, like she thought this was it. This was endgame. But when you have endgame with an insecure man, he just might end you. He, of course, has a Venus in Gemini that's playing out in her 9th house. I mean, when someone has placements in your 9th house, they're going to take you on that magic carpet ride like they're fucking Aladdin. And that's what he did. Like, do you trust me? Give me your hand. I'm going to take you all around the world, Jasmine. And that's probably what they did. So being with him opens her up and expands her horizons. So that's a really beautiful placement. But here's the thing. She's got a Scorpio Venus with Pluto. A Gemini Venus and a Scorpio Venus, not the best synastry. They're in an inconjunct. They don't really agree with each other. He's flirty and witty, you know, and he's kind of, he spreads himself very thin with people. Like he's just, he puts his heart out there, and that's a really beautiful thing, but also he attracts the attention of a lot of people. He's a very, very flirty man, and he enjoys the company of a lot of people, probably a lot of women. And I honestly, I'm looking at his placements. I'm like, he looks like a cheetah. Cheetah, pumpkin eater. There we go. Like, mind body attraction. So he's got Mercury in Aries, and she's got Mars in Aries, and he's also got Pallas Athena, the creative and strategic genius, in Aries. I would love to know where this plays out in his chart. It would give me more info. But from what I see, they make art together, and I do think she directed a film. Like, she's made some projects with him. They've collaborated. When you have Mercury and Mars like this, the Mercury person has a lot of ideas, and the Mars person will make it happen. The Mars person will take action. So that's why they make a really good creative collaborative team. And that Pallas Athena is like another intellectual artistic planet there. So this looks really good. And also, when someone's Mercury is in your 7th house, you are going to be drawn to their mind. I don't think Channing Tatum, he looks dumb, he's not dumb. He's just not. I think he's very swift. He's got a very swift mind. He's got a really good mind-body connection. But he's got a lot of really good ideas, and naturally very competitive in the intellectual arena. I don't think he likes that people think that he's dim. He's not. But yeah, she's very attracted to his mind, because the 7th house is what you're attracted to. It's the thing that you're not. Right? So if someone has a planet in there and it's Mercury, you're going to be attracted to the way they think. Now, his Mercury's that mind is staring straight at her PP, like, right? So she's got a Mars phallus energy. That's very attractive to him. So he's very attracted to her body. She's very attracted to his mind. And those two things are meeting up in this 7th house. They're not in a conjunction, but they are there, right? And certainly that Pallas Athena is very strong. So being with him, I think awoke his genius. So that's a really good creative placement, and it's really good chemistry. She's attracted to his mind, he's attracted to her body. Makes so much sense. I do think she was also attracted to his body, and I do think he was also attracted to his mind. I'm just like trying to explain the placement. Her North Node is in Pisces in the 6th house, so that speaks to her directing. Like, I think she's I think she's going to make a really good director, like producing art. I think she's more than just an actress. I think she needs to be, because her parents are very creative people. And she is the same, just in a different arena, using a different medium. So I do think she's going to be very successful here. Her nodal return is coming up. I'm sure she's got some projects going. She's going to do fine. The eclipses are going to be nice to her professionally. I think personally she's going to suffer because she's got that south node on the moon. So, you know, when she loses out in her personal life, she wins in her professional life. That's just what she's been given here. But he's got no placements in Pisces that would help her with her spiritual evolution. I don't think he helps her much with that. He might actually be holding her back in a lot of ways, despite the creative energy that they have and the attraction that they have up here. He's not really contributing to this north node in the 6th house. Not at all. Whatever. A strange home life. She didn't grow up regular schmegular. She's a Nepo baby. She's one of the most likable Nepo babies, I will say. But keep in mind that her dad was a rock star and her mum is a very famous actress. They had her quite young and at their prime when they were very, very busy with their projects. So she grew up around a lot of famous people. She grew up around a lot of chaos. Saturn at the bottom of her chart indicates that she's got to learn how to have a structured life. She has to create structure. And then with Uranus here, she moved around a lot. Neptune's down there. So I wonder if did her mum and her dad cheat on each other or something? I don't know much about her home life, but there's just a lack of boundaries as well. I think they welcomed a lot of people into their home who were probably very odd, creative, even maybe nefarious people with these placements. She's got part of fortune here, so I do think she's given a lot of love and resources, but still, it's a difficult 4th house. Notice how Channing has nothing there that anchors her here, because the 4th house is where you should be anchored. It's where you rest your head at night, and he's got nothing there. That would not a moon, not a Venus, nothing. There's nothing here that's anchoring her into the base of her chart. He expands her horizons in that 9th house with that Venus, but he doesn't anchor her into the 4th house of the home. He doesn't feel like home to her. Deception and chaos. Okay, so he has, and remember, this is not something that he intended to do. When someone's Uranus is on your personal placements, they are going to bring you chaos, and more often than not, it's not on purpose. It's more situational. But with Uranus, his Uranus in her 2nd house, I'm wondering if they were together long term, if it would have messed with her money a little bit, like maybe bad investments and things like that. I don't know, but this is not a fun planet for Venus to be in. Venus and Pluto, she's got trust issues. It's highly likely she's been cheated on before, or she's witnessed cheating in her parents' marriage, some kind of betrayal. She's very accustomed to that, and it doesn't get any easier when she's got to deal with it again and again and again. And with her in the 2nd house, she's obviously born into money, but she wants to make her own, and she will. Maybe eventually she'll marry someone who has a lot of money. She might do a Salma Hayek. Not that I don't know Salma Hayek's chart, but that it's giving like I might marry a very wealthy person, and she probably should. But yeah, it's a very extreme relationship with money, and being with him would just perpetuate that, because Uranus is a much more, I would argue Uranus is a much more chaotic planet than Pluto is, you know. I think he introduced her to a lot of interesting people. That's probably the one good thing that came out of it, but her Venus in Scorpio does not like the rug being ripped out from under her, and I think that's exactly what happened here. She probably found something out all of a sudden, and she had to give him the chop. She has a Sun and Mercury conjunction in Sagittarius. She's very intelligent. I think she's a very conceptual thinker. I think Mercury doesn't do too well in Sagittarius. I was talking about it with my friend Michelle. Hey, Michelle. She might be watching. She's probably going to watch. I talk about her quite often. She's my Scorpio friend. And yeah, she was saying that we were both talking about how a Mercury in Sagittarius is hella intelligent, but they're also hella stupid. So, like really good conceptual thinkers, like they might make really good storytellers or artists, but it's not the most practical Mercury. It might be a little bit worse than mine, actually. I've got Mercury in Pisces. It's not the easiest. But you know, those are together in the third house. She's quite charming. I think she's quite extroverted when she's in familiar spaces, but she's quite introverted when she has to go out of that small town, when she has to leave the goldfish bowl. I think she's just a naturally introverted person. But if she's surrounded by people that are familiar to her, she's a lot more animated. The Neptune placement here, I mean, whenever you have someone's planet on Neptune, you're going to, sorry, when you have someone's personal planet in a Synastry chart, when you have a personal planet like the sun, in an aspect, a close aspect, like a conjunction to someone's Neptune, there may be some kind of obsession. The Neptune person may project on them a lot, their deepest fears and desires, which can be a great thing and a horrible thing. Like she's a bit of a fantasy girl. Like she walked out of the mist and into his life, and he was like, boom, whoa, she's everything I never thought that I needed. Whoa, like she's everything. I've never seen a girl like that before. I think she's a bit of a fantasy girl for him, but that's not reality. And relationships have to be anchored into reality. And dating your fantasy and marrying your fantasy isn't always the best idea. And I don't think he could handle her either. And that's why he fucked up. That's what I think anyway. A convenient marriage. So from his perspective, not from her perspective, from his perspective, this marrying her would have been very convenient. And it's because she has placements very close to his North Node. I think even though he wasn't necessarily helpful for her spiritual evolution, because he had not a lot of things on her, she had nothing on her North Node. But she has something very close to his North Node, Moon, Juno. Their Juno and Jupiter are married in the chart. So Jupiter's at 0 degrees Virgo, and I think that Juno is at 6 or 7 degrees in Virgo. So Jupiter and Juno are conjunct. They're married in the chart. And marrying her was going to slingshot him into more fame and more prestige and more independence, actually. Like, I know that sounds a bit contradictory, but having her by his side was going to be a very powerful union for him. She is a resource. I do think he loved her, but I think he's also one of those people when he's a very sensual creature who's a slave to he's a slave to his senses, and I think he can love someone, but he can also betray someone he loves. For the thrill, he's a bit of a thrill seeker with that North Node with Mars, and a North Node with Mars is like a bit selfish. Like your destiny is to pioneer and to plunder and to learn to be alone, actually. And had he married her, I think he probably would have gone on quite happy in his marriage, in love with her, but still doing his own thing. Like being married to her would have been very, very convenient for him. She doesn't get much out of it. He gets more out of this relationship than she does. That's why I think she ended it. According to this, they both have Virgo moons. If he's got moon is very close to Saturn, whether it's in Libra or Virgo. So that's a bit emotionally immature. And that's often someone, and I explained this in a previous reading, that moon Saturn conjunctions can indicate emotional immaturity. It takes time, like they're meant to emotionally mature, but something very devastating and serious has to happen. Something crazy has to happen for them to get their shit together. But sometimes like Saturn just restricts that emotional intelligence, that empathy. It can make them stupid for a while. So yeah, but sometimes it can be from trauma, like they're frozen at a certain age because they had to mature quite young. I feel like he's had a pretty difficult home situation because the moon, the mother, the home is with that Saturn, which is giving a lot of hard lessons. So sometimes the thing that makes you mature young is the thing that also holds you back later. There's also Lilith at play here. They both have Lilith very close to their moons. So there's some kind of dysfunctional mother. I don't want to suggest that Lisa Bonet is a bad mother or anything like that. She seems like a solid chick. We love Lisa Bonet, but there's trouble with like a long-suffering mother situation or a mother that has mental health issues. Like when you have the moon and Lilith together, that's a troubled home life. That's a troubled mother. So yeah, I'm wondering how that plays out. Someone help me in the comments. What is going on with Channing Tatum and women? And if anyone knows anything about Zoe and her mother. Anyway, we've come to the end. This is their chart as a whole. I'm just having a look at Zoe's. She's got that Chiron at the top. You know, Zoe's a relatively successful actress, but I've seen her in a lot, like little things, like little roles. And I think directing is a good thing for her because she can, you know, so she can make her name in something, because she's really insecure about her image. And I think being, you know, living in the shadow of your famous parents is really difficult. And she feels very insecure about that. She's got what Kate Middleton has, a lot, you know, where if you got Chiron on the midheaven, you kind of don't know what to do for a living, or you're really unsure about what your role in the world is. Like, what is my, like, if you have that, you're like, what is my contribution to society? And if it's Chiron, it's to help and to heal in whatever job that you're doing. So for her, I think producing films that, because it's Cancer, maybe very feminine, girl focused, very feminist, very empowering, very healing. That's what she should be doing. That's what she should be focusing on. So anyway, I think I've talked about I've talked about everything, I think. She pisses some people off. Mars and the Descendant. They have a tough time with friends. I wonder if she's lost her cool and made some enemies. Just wondering. She seems like a cool chick overall. She seems like a cool chick. I like her placements. I like her Venus, even though it's intense. I like Channing too, but I mean, if I was like had a friend like Channing, I'm like, we're staying friends. No one's putting bits in each other's holes here. Like, no. Friend zone. I know it'd be hard, but yeah, it would be hard. No. Channing's hot, but no, absolutely not. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Please remember to comment, like, subscribe, help me with the algorithm. I've got my YouTube members. I've got my my readings, my MP3s. It's the best way to support me. And thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.